Hello viewers, welcome back to Daily Retro. So this is a little mini series I'm starting off this year. It's going to be sort of reviewing the favourite retro game shops that I go to. It's a little series I've been wanting to do for a little while, but not really had the opportunity to sort of go to lots last year, just because of busyness. But this year, going to a lot of retro gaming markets and shop tours, or shops to do tours even. So yeah, it's not really going to be like a rated system or anything like that. It's literally just me talking about my experiences of some of my favourite retro gaming shops and sharing them with you guys. A lot of people do like shop tours and stuff, but I think those get a little bit samey after a while because the shops, you can't really tell from a video what sort of stock they've got all the time, so it's nice to sometimes just take it back a peg and just talk about it. So last weekend I went to Halesowen, as some of you know, or Brearley Hill as people will refer to it as well. That has 3 very good retro game shops in very close vicinity, and one of them is fairly new, so that is Hidden Chess Gaming, run by Danester. And Vintage Gamer is obviously the one that crops up for most people, and there's one other that I didn't go to this time, but I will be doing a video on that shop at some point. So yeah, last weekend we went to Vintage Gamer and Hidden Chess Gaming, and I'll show up some little videos as we sort of go through talking about the shop. So starting off with Vintage Gamer, Vintage Gamer was one of the first sort of big retro game shops I went to and was very impressed by a couple of years ago, and it's sort of grown from strength to strength through the years. They've recently had a refurb, that was about a month ago, and then unfortunately they had a little leak in their roof, so yeah, they've been knocked down a peg a little bit. But Nick, the owner, has been extremely positive and sort of gave me a new sort of overview of the shop. They sort of tidied everything up and all the shelving's a lot better now. Yeah, I'll link some video tours on what I think is a good video tour of the shop below if you've not been to this shop before, but if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So some of the best features of Vintage Gamer in my opinion are, number 1 is bulk buying. So Nick, the owner, is super friendly and he'll try and give you the best price on whatever he can. So this generally involves you buying more than one item. So this means he's able to knock down the total price of everything rather than you just going in buying one game and haggling on the price. Every time I've been there, he has given me a discount on bulk buying. It always amazes me when I go to a till as to how much these games are going to be. I actually went there last weekend and bought 7 games, and I thought it'd be around 30 quid, and it was 20, which was a pleasant surprise. And as usual, the games were in really good condition as well. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. But it just brings that fact home that it is really nice retro game shop to go to buy more than one item. So it's definitely a shop you want to spend time in. You want to go there with a list. If you go in there just sort of browsing for no real reason, then you might not get as good deals because you're not going to pick up as much. That could just be my experience, but yeah, I think that's how it will go for most people. But yeah, that is the top feature of Vintage Gamer. Then secondly on Vintage Gamer is just the fact that when I went in there recently, and times previous to that as well, prior to that even, they've had a lot of people selling their stock there. Obviously you can go to CEX and be messed about, but Nick is very much of the mind that he can give you a much better cash price, actually give you cash for your retro gaming items. So that's something I see a lot of. Obviously I don't sell too much of my own stuff because I only really collect what I really want. But I know there are people out there who sort of buy and sell through their collections, and that's fine as well. So it is a very good shop to do that, and you'll generally find you get much better pricing than you'll get at, say, CEX. All the retro game shops I go to pretty much will try and outprice them as to how much money they give you for a game. And they won't be as sort of put off by minor faults like scratches on consoles and things like that I know CEX are very sort of pedantic on. So that is again, a very good reason to visit Vintage Gamer. And then finally, it's kind of just an honourable mention really, so I would say Vintage Gamer is probably like my favourite place to go and just like sift through actual physical games. So there are absolute stacks of PlayStation 1 and 2 and loads of other consoles to be honest, but there are absolute stacks of games that are just really fun to actually sift through. It can be a bit sort of dangerous at times because there's literally games as higher than you at some points in the shop, but that's just a nice thing to do, I think, is if you've got the time just to sift through games, because there might be stuff that you've missed, and it's one of the only shops that you can actually do that. A lot of the other shops sort of have pretty much everything in glass cabinets, so you sort of have to ask to get stuff out rather than being able to sift through most of it yourself. So yeah, that's just an honourable mention sort of feature for Vintage Gamer. But overall, really good shop, highly recommended to everyone. And without further ado, we'll talk about Hidden Chest. So Hidden Chest has been open about a year now. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, maybe a tiny bit longer than that. But Danester, he's a YouTuber as well, has put together a really nice but small shop. It's actually an old like fishing shop on an industrial estate, but it seemed to be very popular when I went recently, and I'll show up some videos as I go through as well. But the one bit that has sort of changed recently is they've sort of added another sort of mini seller to the company, or the shop even, and that is selling a lot of 8-bit. So you will find nowhere else with as much 8-bit as Dana has, in my opinion, in the UK. Yeah, just a plethora of 8-bit cassettes, and you know that he's just been buying massive collections of them. I know the Retro Bear, who some of you may know is massively into his 8-bit, just goes there and buys a ton of 8-bit. It's just so much of it, and it's nice to see that style of shop, which is quite small but fits a lot into that small space. So cassettes are obviously a lot smaller than say your average DVD case for other consoles like PlayStation 2 and stuff. So he can fit a lot in that shop with 8-bit, and he's been branching out to other points as well. So that leads me on to the second bit of my sort of favourite feature of Hidden Chest, and that is again it's just how good the pricing is. So yeah, I fully expect retro game shops to be a little bit cheaper than eBay, because eBay obviously charges fees on top of what you sell. But yeah, I've never had a bad price on anything from Hidden Chest. Dana always gives good pricing. I can't remember the name of the other guy who sort of helps him out in the shop. But both really friendly guys, and they do really good pricing. If you sort of show them a recent eBay sale or something, they'll try and undercut it by say a £5. The only example I can think of recently was able to get a boxed PS2 multi-tap for, I think it was £12, which if you look at eBay, that is a very good price. And I wasn't even expecting to get a boxed version of it. I was fully prepared to just buy loose for about £10, so boxed for 12 was really good. And yeah, I'm really keen to go back to Hidden Chest, because it's one of those shops that keeps sort of upgrading every time I go back. There's not just the same old stuff. So yeah, that is sort of the penultimate point of that shop that I really enjoy. And then finally on the Hidden Chest front is kind of the sort of branch out from the retro gaming side of it. So that is just the fact that they have a lot more toys, or retro toys in this case, than any other shop that I know of. I've even picked up an original Toy Story Rex figurine for Caden, that made like sound effects of Rex from the original Toy Story movie, and he absolutely loves that thing, but it literally only set us back like £3, and yeah, he absolutely loves that thing. It just, yeah, has these hilarious quotes coming out of it. But yeah, there's just a ton of toys in there that you just don't see anywhere else. I picked up a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sort of pamphlet to send on to Georgie Slasher quite a while ago, just as a little thank you for promoting my channel a while ago. But that's something that I just wouldn't find anywhere else. I think it was like an early 90s PG Tips promo sort of comic. And you do sort of see figures and stuff and sort of cars and other things at other shops, but not as much as a Hidden Chest. And Hidden Chest definitely has the best range of toys in my sort of local vicinity. I know there are other shops that do toys as well as games, but Hidden Chest is definitely right up there with mixing the two between games and toys. So if you're into your toys as well, really good shop to go to, and yeah, highly recommend it. So that's the end of this video, guys. If you've enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you've got any sort of comments on those two shops that I've mentioned. I want to do this series because it's sort of talking about shops rather than the sort of bigger online marketplaces. I will be focusing my channel a lot this year on gaming markets and gaming shops, as those are the two platforms that I prefer to buy from most. It's a nice feeling to support small businesses, so you should always do it if you can, if you're within sort of an hour's drive or say. Yeah, all of my retro game shops are at least 50 minutes drive from myself, apart from a very small one in Gloucester. But yeah, I'm really excited to do sort of more touring around the UK this year. Next month, in February, we're going to Doncaster for the big video game market, which I've not been to before, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then there's the Black Country Games Fair at the end of February. I think it's the 26th of February if I'm not mistaken, and that's going to be sort of partly hosted by Dana at Hidden Chest as well. And the tickets are only £2 for early entry, or free for, I think it's after 11 AM. So I'm really looking forward to having two big events to go to next month. And yeah, that will definitely have a video in itself. So I'll be doing a video on sort of gaming markets this year, because I'll be trying to go to more than just Birmingham Gaming Market. But that's it for this video, guys. If you haven't seen already, I am actually running a little competition at the moment. Go back to my previous videos. It's actually a short video. So I'm giving away a Retro Fighters Defender controller. This is a brand new controller for the PlayStation 1 to 3. And you've got to guess how many games are in my games room, or whoever gets the closest is going to win that controller, brand new, boxed in whatever colorway you like. This is for UK viewers only. But yeah, if you could go and check out that video if that sounds interesting to you. I mean, who wouldn't want a free amazing controller? So yeah, go and check out that video, and yeah, until next time, cheers.